In the last election, there was a very surprising upset in the race for State House District 1. We'll talk with the winner of the race coming up next. I'm Kevin Stevens, a native Pensacolian, husband, father, and U.S. Navy veteran. But that's not what this is about. I'm a local businessman who has owned many successful companies over the years. But it's not about this either. Recently, I ran for public office and was elected to a seat on the ECUA Board of Commissioners. So what's this about? It's about an elected official who will serve his community and hold his fellow elected officials accountable. All while making local government more transparent. Join me in making Pensacola a better place to live, work, and play. So welcome to another exciting episode of On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So today I have newly elected State Representative Michelle Salzman on my show. So thank you so much for agreeing to be on my show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's always fun.
And congratulations again
on
your fantastic win. I mean, me personally speaking, being an individual that voted for you, along with many other people, are very happy that you're representing us.
I wouldn't be here without you.
It's fantastic. So typically what I do on the show is I will announce the individual I'm going to have on my show the preceding month, and that gives the audience an opportunity to send me an email. That's kstevens@dist5.com, by the way, and they'll simply send me some questions to ask that guest. So I've got a few here from some of your constituents. That they got some questions that they like answered, and also just some educational questions about what a state representative does, such as how long you serve and how you're elected.
Sure. Well, a state representative serves about 170,000 people. We have 120 of us in the state of Florida. My district, I am Florida's first district, which is Escambia County. So if you live in Escambia County, not the city, but in the county, you can pretty much bet that you're in my district. We have 8 years total. We are term limited, and each term is 2 years, so we have to run every 2 years. And the only job that a state representative is required to do is balance the budget. So constitutionally, once a year we get together and we do that. Of course, there's other things that we can do, the extras like pass bills, pass legislation, things like that. Also, some things that we're supposed to do is not necessarily pass legislation, but also fight for the community when we talk about legislation that other representatives have written. So there might be something that affects Pensacola negatively that someone in South Florida wrote, and so it's my job to go over to that representative and say, hey, look, this isn't quite what Pensacola needs. So,
and that's great, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. So many folks are focused on what happens at the national level, and I'm constantly telling folks, constituents in my District 5, as well as friends, family members, coworkers, I'm like, you really need to get involved in local politics, because local politics has such a massive impact on our lives.
It does.
And again, a lot of folks, are focused on what they see on Fox News or CNN, or who's making the latest splash, maybe the presidential. And I'm like, all of which are important.
They are.
But nothing that affects us as much as our local politics.
You're absolutely right.
And again, what is it like being a freshman in the legislature?
Oh, well, it was definitely interesting. I got a lot more support than I anticipated. I pictured going to Tallahassee and just being surrounded by a bunch of people that were on their own agenda, didn't really care about me, because you hear all these things about Tallahassee or politics in general. As you know, we just got here. We've never ran for office. We've never been politicians, and here we are. But it's not like that at all. They're very nice. I was welcomed by everybody, certainly supported. I had a couple of big priorities that I needed to do that I campaigned on, and the leadership in the State House was very supportive of that, helped me make a lot of progress in many different things. And so, but it is different, as a freshman, you don't even know where the bathroom is. It's like I'm sure like you had to find where ECUA was and the different offices
and where the bathroom was.
Right. Where is the bathroom? I don't know, but you guys are certainly in charge of the water that
yes.
that flushes the toilet that you pee in. Okay, so anyway, it was interesting. It was certainly a lot of fun and more welcoming than I could have ever anticipated. And it's an honor to serve with those those folks in Tallahassee. They certainly are great. And you know, you also have the Senate side. There's many of those, and our Senator Doug Broxson was just a huge supporter, very helpful. He showed me where the bathroom was. But yeah, it was fun.
It's good. And like I said, the amount of work, I mean, I don't think most people understand the amount of work it takes to run a campaign, especially a successful campaign, the hours and personal time commitment it takes is, like I said, tremendous. So thank you for putting in that time and effort.
Well, I think you were there with me a lot of those days, waving in your own tent. I remember when the monsoon came and we were the only ones out there with signs.
The sides. So we'll be right back with a few more questions from Ms. Salzman right after this message.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
At Florida Insurance Agency, we have enough available resources to insure just about anything in Florida at the best rates. With dozens of companies to choose from, you don't just get a policy, you get the best policy for you. That means savings and comfort, knowing you are covered. We're only a local phone call away, and you can stop by any of our 3 offices anytime for assistance. Florida Insurance Agency. Our policy is great service.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education.
No one receives a diploma alone.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I'm hooked on pot. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm the tool you've been looking for your whole life. I'm portable, sexy, convenient, and I come in all colors. I carry, drain, and spread love to everyone who's a part of your special occasion. In the past, you struggled to prepare seafood boils the right way. After our first rodeo, you'll be hooked forever. You haven't seen me before, but I'm here to stay. Hooked on pot.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Hi, I'm Smokey Cole Bear, filling in because for 75 years, Smokey only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
Meanwhile, the song was wrong. We did start the fire. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So just following up on some additional questions, you know, I know how it affected ECUA, the COVID pandemic, but how did that affect the process in Tallahassee?
Wow. Well, first of all, we had to get 2 COVID tests a week. 2 COVID tests a week. That means they're shoving junk in your nose twice a week. I mean, and you had to wear a mask.
I've had the long Q-tip quite a few times myself. Not a very pleasant experience.
Yes,
at all.
And then we had to wear masks 10 to 15 hours a day, you know, and then of course nobody's allowed in the Capitol. So a lot of your most of your meetings were Zoom. And I hear that it's a stark contrast from what is normally going on, where the halls are filled with people and you don't have time to do anything because you're so inundated with folks sitting outside of your office. So as a freshman, I actually appreciated the fact that it was just a few of us, because it gave us an opportunity to figure out what in the world we were doing. But it was certainly unique. I mean, I used to go to Tallahassee and advocate on behalf of stuff and meet with state legislatures and the senators. And matter of fact, the Senate didn't allow any visitors at all. But in the House, you could come if you had an appointment. But it certainly impacted us. I was really excited. the first thing we did out the door was pass the COVID liability laws. I mean, we showed up ready to go, and it was like, it was in and out, and it's already protection for
and
all
that's
of the
huge.
business. Yeah.
As a small business owner myself, I very much appreciate that, because that was a stressor. Because as a business owner, you're going to do everything possible above and beyond to protect the safety and well-being of your employees.
Yes.
But to have that, that added benefit of being able to keep, I have several what are considered essential businesses, and to be able to continue to run those and provide those needed services to the public without having, the stress of worrying about being sued for something completely out of your control whatsoever. Again, so thank you for that, and the other legislators for that, because as a small business owner, that was a godsend.
Yeah, that was our very first priority, and it was certainly an exciting thing for me, because I was an advocate of keeping businesses open and trying to keep the economy open, trying to keep kids in school. It was one of those things that I was really pushing for. But you do, as a business owner, I'm a small business owner too, you do have to think about that, the liability of conducting business in this world of COVID and pandemic. Nobody has a pandemic clause,
No.
What does that even mean? So it was certainly one of the priorities, like I said, when we first got there, it was the first thing we did as a legislature, and I'm grateful for it. Now we know that not only did we do the right thing for Floridians, but we don't have to worry about business owners suffering repercussions for doing the right thing. So, super cool.
Oh, no question. And Florida is we're booming. That's what I tell folks. I'm like, oh my God. I mean,
we are the
fact
third largest economy in the United States, 15th largest in the world.
And whereas some states, with more restrictive laws and mandates, lost representatives, we actually picked up a congressional seat, is my understanding. So like I said, that's a testimony to good legislators like yourself, a fantastic governor. We're so blessed. I tell my wife all the time, praise God that we live in Florida.
I know.
I say that all the time, like, praise God.
Too.
And I appreciate it every time I travel outside of the state. I appreciate it even more.
Yes.
Speaking of bills, following up on that, you had an interesting bill, the walkability bill. So tell me a little bit more about that, and then what is the status on the walkability bill?
So Safe Walkways to School Act is a DOT regulation that defines what is considered safe for people to walk on the side of streets. And that legislation is actually embedded in the Department of Education legislation. So it's been over 45 years since that legislation has actually been combed through and evaluated, which is why Florida is the third most unsafe in America for safe walkways. And it's certainly something that is a huge issue that we need to address. And that was one of the reasons why I ran for office, was that walkability issue that we had. We had built a middle school on Beulah Middle off a 9 Mile Road, and we didn't build an overpass for kids to walk, when they got out of school, which meant that we had to use per pupil tax dollars to fund the kids walking across the street, or getting bused across the street because they couldn't walk across the street. So that's pretty much the background of the bill. But the bill made it through all committees. It has never been committed, and it's been presented for about 10 years now in various forms, and it's never even been heard once. And that was the big thing that I did with leadership this year. I said, I don't care if I don't pass anything. I need to make progress on this. We need to fix this. And they backed me on that. They helped me through it. We had sit-down meetings with the Department of Education and the Department of Transportation with myself, and we just kind of combed through what the law was and decided that we needed to do a thorough study so that what we come up with, nobody can question needs to happen. So we all agree now that we have a problem, which is the first step, right?
Identify the problem.
So we identified that we have the problem, and we recognize we need a solution. And so right now, I just had a meeting last week with the House leadership, the policy chief. We are working on getting that study done without having to do the bill again, because the bill didn't move in the Senate. It only went all the way through in the House. So I would have to reintroduce that bill in September. But we're trying to do it without using legislation, just by doing that OPAGA study. And if we do, that means that we could actually have this in law in the next couple of years.
Fantastic. Now that's awesome news. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
I am hooked on pot. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm the tool you've been looking for your whole life. I'm portable, sexy, convenient, and I come in all colors. I carry, drain, and spread love to everyone who's a part of your special occasion. In the past, you struggled to prepare seafood boils the right way. After our first rodeo, you'll be hooked forever. You haven't seen me before, but I'm here to stay. Hooked on pot.
At Florida Insurance Agency, we have enough available resources to insure just about anything in Florida at the best rates. With dozens of companies to choose from, you don't just get a policy, you get the best policy for you. That means savings and comfort, knowing you are covered. We're only a local phone call away, and you can stop by any of our 3 offices anytime for assistance. Florida Insurance Agency. Our policy is great service.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine. And I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns, like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, you know, it's gonna be cool. She's my superhero.
Good job, Kitty Cat.
When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
Welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. You know, now here's a great question that, I'll tell you, at the end of the day, it's the old phrase, what have you done for me lately? So
Yep.
in keeping with that, everybody wants to know, what money have you brought back to the district? So, they say bring home the proverbial bacon.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little bit of detail on what funds you brought back to, because that's, again, we're all about the state. We love our state, but selfishly speaking, we're much more concerned about our local district.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, I can tell you it's been many years since District 1, North Escambia, has brought any money back in what we call appropriations projects. They're bills that you write that are considered by the appropriations chair, the House leadership, the Senate leadership, and then by the governor. And they're little projects that you'd like to do in your community. And if it's approved, it comes back to you. Now, we have $1 billion in appropriations projects or so, each year that the governor signs off on, and we just haven't gotten any due to previous leadership. But so that was one of the things I said. I said, if I bring $1 back to the district, I have done more than anybody's done in several years. And so that's what I did. I focused on the walkability bill, that was very important to me, the safe walkways. And then I did a cottage food bill, but I also focused on how can we bring money back to the district. And I brought over $5 million back personally in projects that were funded. And of course the governor still has to sign off on that, but I'm pretty confident that I'm going to get everything that's on my plate. I've had meetings with the staff and others, and just really trying to make sure that they know that it's our turn to get some of the money. So I don't foresee any of that getting shut down. I did a $500,000 for Take Stock in College, which is Take Stock in Children is a mentor program for underprivileged youth in the school system, and basically it's a mentor program, and if you make it all the way through to the end, you get a college scholarship. Well, the Take Stock in College is a segue of that will now be funded some by the state, and it is a state-ran nonprofit organization, so super cool. I've been on the advisory board of Take Stock in Children for several years. It's a part of the Public Schools Foundation, which I'm also on that board, so it was kind of cool to do that. I also, one of my passions was helping the people that didn't vote for me. I know that sounds kind of funny, but you know, I am very excited to be a part of the majority, but I also don't want to forget about the minority in our community, and one of those is Century.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yes, Century.
District 5?
Yeah, that's right. That's our district. I'm also District 5. This is actually my ECUA rep, not just my rep in my House district, but I actually live in District 5. So, but Century has some issues with their water management system, and I had issued $2 million in appropriations requests. I met with the Northwest Florida water folks, and they wanted to focus a lot of their money on the Hurricane Michael recovery that hadn't even happened yet over there in Representative Schoaf's area. It's a couple over. It's still in the Panhandle. It's over there, Port St. Joe area. They hadn't gotten a lot of their recovery done yet, and so we kind of talked through it, and they said we'd like to focus a lot on that area because it's been in need for a long time.
Very long time.
Yes, but we do recognize that Century, has issues. So we were able to negotiate a $500,000 for the well project. So we will hopefully, with the governor signing off on it, we'll get $500,000, which is a $500,000. But the cool part about the way that I issued those requests was I issued them through the county. So the Board of County Commissioners will oversee all of those processes. One of the problems we've had with getting appropriations projects approved in Century in the past is that the government recognizes Century doesn't manage money properly. And whether or not we have new leadership and they're going to do a great job, none of that matters. They look at the history and they see that there was an issue. So the first thing we did to make sure that we could circumvent that problem was ask for partners. So the partner, the Northwest Florida Water folks, that they're a partner in at ECUA. I came to you. You were one of the reasons why we got that endorsement, and then went to Commissioner Berry. And so it's a team project. It will help the folks that really need it most. And I will submit another request next year and try to get more money and just continue that process. The next thing I did was I got money for the Bluffs. The Bluffs project is $2.5 million, and it really is funding an industrial roundabout that will allow for other industries to come in and promote job and just economic development in North Escambia. And we have folks lined up to help with that. It's a project that has been approved several times, but it's never made it all the way past the governor's desk. So,
well, I would like to talk more about that, like I said, because that's another project near and dear to my heart that encompasses part of my district as well.
Does.
So after a short commercial break, we'll be right back.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
At Florida Insurance Agency, we have enough available resources to insure just about anything in Florida at the best rates. With dozens of companies to choose from, you don't just get a policy, you get the best policy for you. That means savings and comfort, knowing you are covered. We're only a local phone call away, and you can stop by any of our 3 offices anytime for assistance. Florida Insurance Agency. Our policy is great service.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
It's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm hooked on pot. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm the tool you've been looking for your whole life. I'm portable, sexy, convenient, and I come in all colors. I carry, drain, and spread love to everyone who's a part of your special occasion. In the past, you struggled to prepare seafood boils the right way. After our first rodeo, you'll be hooked forever. You haven't seen me before, but I'm here to stay. Hooked on pot.
It's not.
Welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So when we left off, we were talking about bringing home the proverbial bacon.
Yep.
And you're going over several bills that are on the governor's desk right now that will, fingers crossed, that he signs to bring back some money back to our district in North Indiana County, the Bluffs. So elaborate a little bit more on the Bluffs project, because again, much like Century, being in my district and encompassing part of my district, that is certainly near and dear to my heart.
Well, it's basically, we've had several companies and partnerships in the past that have built up to this crescendo, I guess you would say. The Bluffs, the roundabout, the industrial roundabout build-out is the last component of this, and it would allow for big trucks to come in and do the remainder of the shipment for whatever it is that the industry is, because we have rail, we have water, we have all the different ways, so it helps us bring the big trucks in.
Right, and thereby bringing in more industry, making us more appealing to larger companies, which in turn jobs.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're about to wrap up, but just real quick, when is the next session? And how do we get a hold of you?
Sure. Next session starts in September, our committee weeks, and we actually start in session full on as January 11th. If you want to get in touch with me, you can email me at michelle.salzman@myfloridahouse.gov, or you can call me on my cell phone, 850-207-5024.
So easy peasy.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I very much appreciate you coming on the show. I'm definitely going to have you back on again. Especially when session starts. I know you've got a lot of bills, a lot of legislations, a lot of things that are near and dear to your heart as well. So I'd like to bring you on board to talk about those. And I've asked you some of the stuff. I know we got some stuff working that you're not letting the cat out of the bag yet. So maybe you'll come here first to share that. But again, thank you so much for coming, and thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you next month for On the Board with Kevin Stevens. Thank you, and God bless.
Hi, I'm Smokey Cole Bear, filling in because for 75 years, Smokey only said,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Meanwhile, the song was wrong. We did start the fire. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
The COVID-19 vaccines can be our chance to get back to our plans, who we are, what we miss, to get back to each other, to life. But it's okay to have questions, like, how were the vaccines tested? In rigorous clinical trials among adults of diverse backgrounds. Can the vaccines give you COVID-19? You cannot get COVID-19 from a vaccine. Why should I get vaccinated? Protecting yourself also helps protect the people around you. Find the latest information at getvaccineanswers.org.